Hello, everyone. Welcome to my stream. This is the second stream of the day where we're on the first day of the Val-Con 2026 Hype Week, and we are playing in the Vanillaheim server. So, we had a pretty chaotic stream this morning. There was a lot going on and a lot of errors and omissions happening. Well, that's the sort of thing that happens in a live broadcast. So this afternoon, or at least it's afternoon for me, I wanted to kind of take a step back and slow it down a little bit and start out with some of the things that I like to do, which is to go through some of the explanations of how Valheim works and how you can learn some tricks and tips on how to make the game go a little bit easier for you. So I'm not going to be in the game chat at the moment, at least not the voice chat. Instead, I'm just going to be talking to the viewers of my stream and going over the various things that I'm doing in the game. I'm currently sitting here in the game inside my my little home that I've built here. If some of you are very sharp-eyed, you may note that I built this place on almost exactly the same spot that I built a place in the trailer video. I think that actually in the trailer I built in my home, like right here where I'm standing. And now I've got it slightly over here. It's a similar structure. My character in the game has just gone through the process of defeating Yggdrasil, so there's been progress that has happened. And I can go back and repeat some of these steps as I go through explaining the basics of this game. But we're going to kind of go back and start at the beginning and step through it bit by bit on everything that happens to you in the game. You will probably see some other players running around. If I look at the map, I can see, yep, there's at least 2 other people currently in the game. And you can also see there the areas that I've currently explored. So that's great. There's activity on the Vanillaheim server, and you can come in and join us. If you get into the Val-Con Discord server, locate a channel called Vanillaheim Info. You will find, excuse me while I shoot some birds, you will find the login information for this server. And you can log in and join us here in playing Vanillaheim. Wow. Oh, he flew away. Okay. And we have some bees. Bees are always good. Let's get some honey off the bees. And we've got some irritating stones in the way. We're going to be able to take care of those pretty quickly here because we did defeat Eek there. And we've got his pickaxe. So... clean that up. Okay. So let's kind of start at the beginning and go to the end. When you first arrive in a Valheim world, always keep your food filled up so that you have maximum buffs on your health and stamina. When you first arrive in a Valheim world, you land in what is normally the center of the world, depending upon exactly what your world seed is, and you land in this spot here. This is something I call the Forsaken Circle. It's also called the Spawn Point, the Sacred Circle. It has a lot of different names. But around us here, we see these stones, each of which has some glyphs on it or an image on it, and these each represent one of the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 so far major bosses in the Valheim game. These bosses are called the Forsaken, and that's why I call this the Forsaken Circle. And when you arrive here, you will not see this type of display on any of the stones that you see here. You will not see a trophy hanging, as you see here. This is something that has happened as a result of the players playing the game. You will find this stone here that is referred to as a Vegvisir. Vegvisir means to show the way, and that's what these stones actually do. They tell you how to find the very first of the boss summon sites, in this case, Yggdrasil. So if I press it, it opens the map and it shows me this site here that I'm currently pinging. Now, all of the bosses have multiple sites. If you see here that I have found 2 other Yggdrasil sites, and many of the other bosses have as many as 5 separate sites that you can go to. They're all equivalent. Any of the sites can be used to fight any of the bosses. You don't have to visit them all. You just have to visit one. But this kind of sets you already at the very start, puts you on the path to the basic game cycle that you're going through here. Find the boss sites and defeat the bosses. Now, you can't just go running out and kill them right away. You need to prepare. And for that, you need resources. Now, I can tell you already that the resources in this area have been pretty heavily depleted by all the players coming in. So, in order to deal with the fact that this is a heavily used multiplayer server, I made a little bit of an accommodation down here. This is not normally what you would see in a single-player world, but here are some of the basic resources that you would pick up around this area. And that includes wood, stone, lint, resin, mushrooms, and raspberries. Those last 2, mushrooms and raspberries, are the first foods that you usually find. And you can start eating them in order to get an increase in health and stamina above the basic levels. So you see here the mushroom gives you 15 health and 15 stamina. The raspberry gives you 7 health and 20 stamina. So you notice that the mushroom has a white colored fork on next to it, and that indicates that it's a balanced food with equal amounts of health and stamina. The raspberries have a yellow fork next to it, and that tells you that it emphasizes stamina, because the stamina bar, the one that you see at the bottom of the screen there, is yellow. And then there are red fork foods, such as these cooked meats here, and you can see that gives 30 health and 10 stamina. So that's a food that emphasizes health to match the red health bar that's over here there on the lower left corner of the screen. I'm not currently eating any mushrooms or raspberries. I have moved on to some later foods, including honey, which is definitely a stamina food, and a couple of different kinds of cooked meats. So definitely there's a progression to the food, and that food progression is one of the most important things for you to establish early on, because food is vital in order to maintain your strength and enable you to be able to fight against some of the more difficult creatures in the game. Okay. And as you walk around, you will find these various resources located in different areas. Wood can be found in just loose branches lying around, or you can chop down trees. Stones can be found as small loose stones that are lying around. And later on, you're going to learn how to break up some of these larger stones, such as the one you see right over here. You may have spotted that there's a couple of raspberry bushes right here. And then behind one of these, I think it's right here, there would be some mushrooms, but somebody has come along and picked those already. They will regrow. So, wood branches on the ground will come back. Mushrooms and raspberries will come back. Loose stones will not come back. Flint will come back as well. Where do you find flint? You find flint down by the water. Let's run down quickly to some water locations, see if we can spot any flint down there. There's a loose branch. Gives you that idea. You just pick it up. Ooh, here we have a boar. I'm gonna hunt for him. I've got a dagger. I kill the boar with the dagger. When you first start, you have pretty much have nothing but your fists to punch it with, and it Can be a tough fight, but quickly gain some strength. Here's a piece of flint. Shows you what that looks like. It's a light gray color, kind of an oval shape. It's kind of shiny, and it's usually somewhere close to the water. I picked that up, and now I have a piece of flint. And we'll look around and see if we can see a loose stone. Oh, here's some more flint. Actually, I already have quite a bit of flint. I shouldn't be picking those up. But I would like to find a loose stone so you can see what that looks like. Hopefully. This area might have been picked over pretty aggressively. No, here we are. These aren't always by the water like the flints are. They can be in lots of different places, but this is what they look like. Stone, pick it up. Another stone. And there's another boar. Boar are very valuable. They drop both meat and hide. So you see, I got boar meat and I got leather scraps. Both very valuable resources, especially in the earlier part of the game. Then you can go after trees like this. Now, when you have the right resources, you can make a stone axe. And then you can equip that stone axe and chop down these small trees. I'm making that look super easy, but that's because I've raised my skill quite a bit from the base level. And so I can destroy these in one go. You can also chop down the bigger trees, like this beech tree. Takes a lot longer to chop it down, but there it goes. And I'm going to keep on chopping to remove the stump that's under here. I never leave stumps behind. And I'm going to chop the big trunk, and it will break in half into two smaller trunks. Oh, did it take out that other tree? Sometimes they do. When they fall, they also break another tree, but not this time. So I'll chop the stump this way. The trunk. And there should have been a second half of that trunk. Where did it go? Sometimes they get caught up in the trees. I bet it's still up there somewhere. I can't even see it. Well, then you have trees like this, the birch tree. If I had to try to chop that with a stone axe, oh, too hard. I can't cut it. I need a different kind of axe to cut that tree down. And we'll see about that a little later. And then here's a stone I can pick up. And here's another stone. I can't pick it up. If I try to chop it with the axe, I get nowhere. Again, this needs a tool I don't quite have yet, but we will in a short period of time. And let's see, resin you can get from a couple of sources. Some trees, when you cut them down, drop resin. The smaller trees, such as these little ones here, are much more likely to drop resin when you chop them down. There, I just got a piece of resin out of that one. So, see if we can find some mushrooms growing on the ground, show you what those look like. They're red, and they're nestled down in the grass. They can be a little hard to see. Ah, here's another way that you can get resin. This is a grayling, one of your first enemies. And when they die, they drop a piece of resin. There's some more raspberries. I'm really looking for is mushrooms. Yeah, I'll keep gathering the raspberries. Raspberries remain useful even after you're no longer eating them directly as food because they are used in recipes of better foods that come along a little bit later. I have to keep an eye on my weight here. I have a maximum of 300 weight. I'm going to say pounds because historically the Scandinavians did use units of measure with names very similar to pound. There's something like pund. So it's not inaccurate to say pound. So we're going to say that our maximum weight capacity is 300 pounds, and I'm currently carrying 172 pounds worth of it. But I look at any item in my inventory, it tells me the weight of an individual one, in this case 2 pounds, and the total weight of the stack. So 3 times 2, 6 pounds. Still looking for some mushrooms. It'd sure be nice to find. I normally would mark the mushrooms on my map, but I'm afraid this morning I was very distracted and did not do that. Oh, here's a boar. We want the boars. Okay, I'll just wander around here a little bit. Gotta be some mushrooms somewhere. It's quite possible that all the mushrooms in this area were previously picked. They will return after a few days, game days, I mean. But it's possible they just haven't yet done that. Now this is an interesting spot. This little arrangement of stones called a dolmen. They were kind of like grave markers in the ancient times, and they're often populated with a little skeleton here that can give you some bones. Bones are a little hard to come by in the meadows. They'll be much easier to get in later biomes. But bones are important for upgrading certain types of armor. So we definitely want some bones. Here we are. Here we are. This is what mushrooms look like on the ground. Little red cap there. Usually sort of a little scatter of them. Here, I'm going to remove these little trees. These trees, by the way, will not grow back, although there is a way for you to plant your own trees that comes later on. I'll just take these out so we can see this clearly, and there you are. There's an array of 4 mushrooms. I'm going to go in and I'm going to mark this on my map. So I use the circle for general resources. I double click to put the circle down, and then I just put M. I know from long practice for me that means mushroom, and then pick them up. So now I have some mushrooms in my inventory. Okay. I think that's the majority of the resources you can get out here. There is one other resource that you'll find in the meadows. Here we are. Little yellow flowers. These are dandelions, and you can pick them up. Oh, look. And now I have a new material. The dandelions don't have a tremendous amount of use at this stage of the game. They do become important later on in very small quantities, though, so you don't need to get stacks and stacks of them. Really, a single stack will probably serve you for the entire game. There's also a cute little flower hat that you can make during the special midsummer event using dandelions, but now is not midsummer, so we can't do that. There's a boar walking over there, and there's this neck walking over here. I'm not really looking for that at this point, so what I'm going to do is make my way back to my house. If I lose my direction a little bit, what I can do is go over here and ping on the map. I use the center mouse button and just press it down, and I get this ping. And if I look in the real world, there, it tells me which direction in which to walk. So now I can walk over there. I'm going to switch to the knife. Just head back to my house. I don't know if you heard that sound. That was the call of a deer. So deer offer some superior leather or hides and some superior meat. So if we can find one and hunt it, that's a good thing. Oh, that was the call of a deer in alarm. And I think it's running away. Yep, you can just see it there in the distance. Deer are kind of skittish. They won't run toward you, unlike boars, who will definitely turn and attack you. So the best way to get deer generally is using a bow. So you'll see me doing that during this playthrough. Greylings will also come to attack you, so you don't necessarily need to use a bow for them. But I sometimes still do, because I'm constantly working all my different weapons in order to raise the skill I have with each weapon. That skill level has a very significant impact on your effectiveness at using that weapon. Okay, I'll just walk through here. So keeping my eyes open for any other possible deer. They do come around here sometimes. Heard another one. And all sorts of creatures calling out. Yes, there's definitely a deer down here somewhere. This sideways walking is a technique that I use to be able to spot creatures against the background, because the different things move sideways and it's easier to see. And here's a deer. So I'm going to switch to my bow. Make sure I'm using wooden arrows. That's all it takes to hunt deer. And take aim. I got him. This early bow isn't the easiest to use, but it's perfectly effective for the job. Will take down deer very effectively. Someone has left a trunk of wood down here. I don't like that. I'm going to chop that up and take it home. Okay. And this is our little home. Nothing fancy, but it gets the job done. It's got enough space for a bed, a workbench, plus some of its upgrades, and storage. I also need a fire to keep the place warm. Well, let's put everything away here. Oh dear. Got an unwanted visitor. We'll just take him out. Okay. So there's no right way to do storage. I stack these things up and arrange them the way I like, but I'm going to put wood in this one. This is a place for some special woods. This is a different kind of wood. I just heard a boar out there. And I usually move on to stone and other stone. Actually, I'm going to move this down here, together with that. Then usually the next one is resin. And then animal hides. And I put feathers up here. Okay. Over on this side, I have sort of the food and cooking stuff, because I do my cooking on the fire there. So, I've got some cooked meat in here already, which I can use to recharge my supply. And then I put the uncooked meat next to it. We'll show you how to cook that in a little bit. Up here, I'm going to have mushrooms, berries, and oh, I have berries over here. Let's keep those all together. I'm going to put the dandelion up here somewhere. Finally, down to the end, I've got some trophies. Got some gold coins, which you can find in chests and from other means. This is an older piece of gear. This is the rag tunic you start the game with. There's a piece of equipment. Anything else that's good here? No, it's usual stuff. So, always fix your gear whenever you get the chance. You always want your gear to have the maximum durability, so that it hopefully doesn't break on you when you're not expecting it to do. Here are some spare arrows that I've got lying around, so I'll refill my supply. Those are already full. Let me check my beehives, see if I got any more honey. Each one has one. They will fill up to a maximum of 4, and then stop until you've emptied them. Okay. Now we'll eat some more food to replenish. And you can see how my health doesn't instantly grow. It kind of comes in stages. And that is actually the stat there where it says healing 2 hit points per tick. So every time you see that little increase in the health bar there, that's a tick of the health bar. And I'm getting 2 hit points from this meat, another 2 from that one, and another 1 from that one, a total of 5, plus there's a base tick rate that you get just from the base health. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about shelter. You'll get a chance to see some building later on, in probably in a later session. So I'm not going to try to like tear this down and show you how it's built, but I do want to talk about what the elements are in this building and why they're here. So kind of the first thing is the roof. The roof provides you with shelter. You can see up above near my mini map, I've got a little icon that says shelter. And that's one of the key elements that leads to comfort, which is the value that you see next to it under the word resting. When you have shelter, that is a roof over your head, plus enough side walls to protect you from the wind, I guess you would say, and you have a fire within range that's giving you warmth, you gain a total comfort of 3. If all you have is the fire and you're sitting next to it outside, you get a comfort of just 1. Okay. Additional elements in your home provide additional comfort. And I can run down through those, what they are. The first is the bed. This type of bed provides 1 additional comfort. So that's 4. This, it's a little hard to see over here. Here, I'll get some wood and make another one. This piece of furniture, this sitting log, is a type of chair. This is a very basic chair. So this one provides you, and yes, you can sit in it, but this one provides you with an additional comfort level of 1. So that's 5 points. Finally, this rug here, it's a deer rug made from deer hide. This provides you with another point of comfort. So that's 6. And you can see, with that much comfort, if I stay here under the zone of comfort for at least 30 seconds straight, then I will get a rested state. That's that red internoded icon there on my next to my mini map. And you see my maximum rested is 13 minutes. The way rested works is you take your comfort level 6 and add 7 to it. 6 plus 7 is 13 minutes of rested state. So the higher level of comfort you get, the more rested time you have. Rested is one of the most important buffs in this game. Let me shut this guy up. Talking here. When you're under the rested state, you get plus 50% health regen, plus 100% stamina regen. Iter regen is a later game thing. And this tells you it lasts for 780 seconds, which is 13 minutes. And this shows you all of the things that go into it. Fire, shelter, resting state, and so forth. So getting a good rested state is critically important. You should never, ever fight a big fight like a boss fight without being in rested state. And frankly, if it's possible, you try to be in rested state for everything else you do in this game as well. There will be times when you can't, it runs out, and you're stuck far away from your home, but always try to be in rested state. I'm going to break this chair now because I already have one hiding behind the bed. I put it back there mostly to keep it out of the way. You saw it was a pretty big thing, and it took a lot of space. Okay, let's do a couple of things here. Hold on. I'm just going to use that up. Let me get a little more of this. I'm refueling all of my torches. These torches mainly provide light. They do not provide heat like the fire does. Looks like the fire needs some more fuel. So I will pick up some wood. And I will feed this fire and that fire. And I like to keep my fires filled up with wood because that's when they burn the longest. They will keep consuming fuel as long as somebody is logged into the game and it's operating. All right. On this fire here, I've built 3 of these contraptions, cooking stations. And these are ways that you can cook raw meat and turn it into cooked meat. So let's get out some raw meat and start putting it on the cooking station. Right now I'm cooking some boar meat. You can see it hanging there. And it will cook for a little while, and then it will be done. And you'll hear a sizzling sound. It will change color. And then you want to take it off the cooking station. If you forget and leave it behind there, it's going to burn and turn into coal. Now, coal is useful, but there are much better ways to make coal, and you really need this meat to eat, so try not to waste it. Never go to sleep while you're cooking meat, because that's a guaranteed way to burn it. And you see I can use the other cooking stations all at the same time if I wanted to. That has filled up this stack, so I will put the extra piece back behind here. This won't take too long. Somebody still in the server? Yeah, there's one other player still in the server. By the way, that thing I did there, I used the F2 key to open this little console. And this tells you some useful stuff. It tells you other players who are in the server. It also tells you what your ping rate is. Mine says 0 milliseconds. That's not true. The server I'm on is currently not sending back information about ping rates, so that's not accurate. It's probably more like 50 or 100 milliseconds, something like that. It tells you the name of the world and just some good information. Okay. Put these away. Always fix your tools. Let's see if that other player happens to be sleeping in bed. So, if you're playing in a single-player world, you just jump into bed and you start to sleep through the night. In a multiplayer world, though, in order for that to work, everybody who's actively on the server has to get in bed. And that can often be difficult to arrange. People are out there doing their own thing. They're working on their own goals, and they may not be anywhere near their bed, so you may not get to sleep through the night. But you're still getting your rested state while you're here, so the only real advantage of sleeping through the night is it passes away the dark time and gets you into the light of the day, where it's much easier to see what you're doing. Also, at night, there are much more dangerous creatures outside than are true during the day, so maybe you don't want to deal with that at this time. It's good to be in the daytime. But we're just going to keep going. Okay. So, now we've got a shelter. We've got comfort. Let's talk about our tools and equipment. So, crafting begins with the workbench. This is a basic wooden workbench. Takes 10 wood to build. You can build one of these outside anywhere you want, but those have limitations. Let me show you this. I need some wood. Now, if I build a workbench, let's say here, I can use this workbench in order to build other building pieces, like this hole right there. But if I walk up to this workbench and say you try to use it, it says no, needs a roof. And so that's why you want to build a workbench inside a shelter. It doesn't have to be a full-blown house. It just has to cover it on the top and the sides. And there you go. Now I can open up the workbench and I can do things like repair my tools. At least those that were made on the workbench. If they were made on other workbenches, other types of benches, you can only repair them on the bench that they were made on. The other thing I do is make all this stuff. Obviously it goes far beyond just a few basic things made of wood. But here on this workbench, we typically have things that are made of, of natural materials like wood, stone, leather, resin, things like that. And I've already made quite a few of them. So there's the hammer. The hammer is the tool that allows you to build all the buildable things, including both crafting benches and buildings. The hoe. The hoe lets you work the ground, leveling it out, raising it up, making paths, things like that. The torch is a useful tool because it provides some light, and it's also a crude little club. Let's see the torch in action. I hear somebody out there attacking my stuff. Oh, it's a boar attacking my workbench. Yeah, boars don't like fire. They will run away from it. A lot of other creatures don't like fire either. So, he's damaged my workbench, so I'll repair it using the hammer. There we go. In fact, actually, I'll break that down. I don't need it to be out here. Oh, and now you'll come back and attack me. Well, that was a mistake. Ah, we got some creatures coming out of the forest. These are some gray dwarves. These are actually intruders from the next biome, the Black Forest. And they're coming out here because we've defeated that first boss, Ike there. So, Grey Dwarves. They look a lot like Greylings. You can tell the difference between them because Greylings have sort of pale yellowish eyes. Grey Dwarves, most of them at least, have blue eyes. There are also some different Grey Dwarves that have either red or green eyes. They're a little tougher. We'll see more of those later. What do we have over here? Did I see a glint? Eye catching some light? Or was that a glint off the rock? Probably a glint off the rocks. Okay. Go back to the workbench. Some other things we can make. Now here's a flint axe. I earlier called this a stone axe. It's actually a flint axe, which is the next level up from stone axes. Made with flint and with a set of stone. And it requires a workbench to manufacture it. This is a wooden shield. It's the first shield you get. A crude bow. It's the earliest kind of bow. But, as it says, functional. It gets the job done. A club. That's one of the things that you can make over here without any workbench required. A flint knife. Definitely a step up from punching with bare hands. And then here I have my armor pieces. A leather helmet, a leather tunic, and leather trousers, all made from deer hide. This is a step up from the rag tunics that I was able to have from just made from leather scraps. See, a lot of my equipment has these bars underneath it. That means they've been damaged or worn out in some way. So I definitely want to repair them. So I access the bench and start hitting this repair box until everything is repaired. Interesting, the torch doesn't get repaired. You can't repair these. When they're worn out, they just disappear. You can make new ones pretty easily, in fact, but you can't repair them. Most other tools and gear can be repaired. So let's see. There are some other things I haven't yet made here that I could have made, like a deer hide cape. Well, that requires bones. I don't have any bones. Or an antler pickaxe. We'll talk about that in a minute. Or flint spear. I had the materials to make this. I just didn't choose to do so. Or what's this weird thing? Stag breaker. It's actually a giant hammer, a big two-handed hammer that you can use to pound the ground and smash your foes into tiny little bits. Quite a useful thing. It's made with deer trophies. Okay. And then we have upgrade. After you've made something, that item is a level 1 item. For example, let's see. This leather tunic is there it is. This level tunic is a level 1 tunic, or a quality one, as it calls it. It has a certain durability. It has a certain level of armor protection. That leather tunic can be upgraded. You need a workbench that's at level 3, which, as you can see up here, I have. It needs some deer hide. I probably have some of this in the box. And it needs some bones. I definitely don't have that. So I need to gather those materials if I want to upgrade it. Let's see if I have. I don't have enough of the leather hide either, so let's put all this stuff away. So yeah, bones is going to be the limiting factor there. Bones are hard to get in the meadows, but I'll be able to get them quite easily in the next biome. Keep my food up. What else can I upgrade? The flint axe? Flint axe is already upgraded to level 3. I need a level 4 workbench to go to the next level, and I don't have that yet. Or the hammer. The hammer's already at level 3, and as you can see from this message down here, max quality. Level 3 is as high as you can go in a hammer. A lot of the other equipment can go up to level 4, but some cannot. Alright, and then there's upgrades. So, when I equip this and go to crafting, there's my workbench. I can place that down whenever. Then, the other items listed here, the chopping block, and the tanning rack, these are upgrades to the workbench. When they're placed in close proximity to the workbench, such as the chopping block here, such as the tanning rack kind of lurking behind it, you can just kind of see where I've stuffed it in behind there. Those are upgrades. So a base workbench is level 1, plus the chopping block is level 2, plus the tanning rack is level 3, which is why this is a level 3 here. There's going to be other upgrades that come along that raise this workbench to further levels 4 and 5 and so forth. Let's see. I think that's about everything I've got in here. We do have these beehives still producing honey. That's great. And when I find one of those out in the wild, I'll tell you all about how you make those. Now, there's one thing we can still make. We haven't done so yet. And that is the antler pickaxe. When we defeated Yggdrasil, whoops, wrong side. When we defeated Yggdrasil, we got one of his trophies, and we got several of these hard antler pieces. Now the trophy's kind of cool. I may hang that on the wall later, but for the moment, I'm interested in the hard antler. This lets you make an antler pickaxe. This is a real historical thing, by the way. People in the Stone Age actually used hardened antler pickaxes to dig through stone and the soil and all sorts of things. They're pretty remarkable. Anyway, I'm going to make one of those. Oh, and I'm going to make another one of those. And in fact, I'm going to make 3 of those. Okay. Now, why did I make 3? Well, the antler pickaxe is pretty amazing, but it tends to wear out pretty fast. And another thing you'll notice, if I come here to the workbench and go to upgrade, it's not listed here. The antler pickaxe cannot be upgraded beyond its quality level of 1. That's all you get. So, since they wear out quickly, if I'm out in the field using this as a pickaxe, I want to have multiple so that when one wears out, I can switch to another one. Those can still be repaired, even if they're totally broken, but it's good to have multiples. So now I'm going to put one of those pickaxes here up in my slot number 6. And you see these stones that are around my house? I sort of dodged them when I was building it, but I'd sure like for those to be gone. And now I have a way to do it. The pickaxe. So I aim the little reticule right at the stone and start swinging. At my low level of skill with this weak pickaxe, it takes a fair number of swings before that stone breaks. Be careful not to aim at the ground because that will cause you to dig a hole in the ground. I mean, if you're trying to dig a hole in the ground, great. But what I actually want to do is destroy all these stones that are blocking me around my house. This one actually goes right through the wall. This one I want to be careful not to hit the beehive. Okay, look at that. I got a whole bunch of stone just by breaking a few rocks. Now there's a slightly different kind of rock over here. It's bigger, so it's got a different shape. So when I hit this, did you see it shift a little bit there? So what's going on is this started out as one big piece of rock. The first time I hit it, it changes and breaks apart into a series of different chunks of rock, but it looks exactly the same. So I'm going to keep on hitting it. There, a couple of those chunks of rocks broke away, but some other chunks still remain. And I keep on breaking those until everything's gone. You can see this uses quite a bit of stamina, so you take it easy, take your time, and eat some stamina foods to keep your stamina supply going. Okay, last chunk. So that dropped quite a bit. I had 19 before I started hitting at that, and now I have 38, which means that that stone dropped 19 rock all by itself. You can use the pickaxe as a weapon, but I don't recommend it. It's slow and clumsy and tends to damage the ground around you. Okay, well that's already a lot nicer. I got rid of some of those big stones that were blocking my house. I can go a little bit further. Oh, that was a bird. Very loud flapping sounds for a seagull. And this stone will eventually become useful as a building material. That's quite a bit later in the game. Right now, I just like it out of my way. Okay, this big one. I'll leave those others out there alone until I want to build in that direction. See that my pickaxe is getting pretty worn here. I could run back inside and fix it, but hey, I've got multiple pickaxes. I don't have to. Okay, anything else around here I want to break up? Maybe this one here. Eventually, I'll probably strip the entire area of stones. This is not stone, this is a little bush. I'm going to use the axe to chop through that. I'll also pick up that loose stone and that loose stone and that one. I'm sort of clearing an area around my building here. Those are fine for now. This one? Yeah, maybe. You're wondering why there's a bare patch of ground over there. It's because there used to be a building there, but it was torn down to obtain the wood that was in it. Another way of getting wood. Tear down an existing building. Everything you build can be torn down and it returns all or at least most of the materials you put into it. Ah, so it's not picking those stones up. Why not? Because I'm at my maximum weight. The other possibility would be all the slots were filled, but that is not the case. And it's raining. So let me step inside here and put away some of this. Nope. Yep. Go out and pick up the rest of that stone. Should be blinking at me. Where is it? Where is it? There it is. Okay. So when you get wet, like from rain or from walking through water, you have the wet debuff. Wet debuff is kind of the opposite effect of the rested buff. It takes away your ability to where is it here? Wet lowers your health and stamina regeneration, and here's all the things it does to you. Minus 25% health, minus 15% stamina. Yeah, that takes away a lot of what the rested gives you. So you don't want to be wet if you can avoid it. You stand next to a fire and wet goes away really fast. If you don't have a fire, though, you just got to get under shelter and it will slowly disappear over a period of about 2 minutes. And then the other debuffs dominate, because now you see wet is no longer listed. All right. Always fix here. Great. So, let's talk about defeating the bosses. I would advise every player, at least when they first start the game, to prepare carefully for every boss fight. The bosses are quite a bit tougher than most of the ordinary creatures. And they also have special immunities against certain parts of your attacks. So you need to learn how that is. Each of the bosses has a special summoning site. On my map, you can see the 3 for Yggdrasil as here, here, and here. So when we were at the spawn site here, the Vegvisir stone pointed us to this guy. But that's not actually where I fought Yggdrasil. We're going to go walk over there and take a look at it, and I'll try to give you a reason why that's not where I chose to fight him. Need some more food. Make sure my supplies are full up. Could use more honey. Did they produce any honey before the rain started? No. Oh well. So let's walk over here and go to that Yggdrasil site and have a look at it. Whenever we're traveling anywhere through... Oh, look at this. Mushrooms. Good ones. Let's mark that. Whenever we're traveling anywhere through the world, it's always a good idea to keep your eyes open for opportunities to collect resources. Even if they're not resources that you're going to use right away. Because those opportunities aren't always plentiful, so take them when they come. It's usually a good idea to have a weapon out, like I do not. Get my shield out too. And just be alert to possibilities. Ah, a deer. Wasn't paying attention. Now, here's an interesting thing. This is a rune stone, and you'll find several of these around the world. And they tell you some lore. So let's read what this one has to say. And then it translates it, and a full belly, full sail, the weight of a spear to your hand, and a song on your lips. Let all the mountains crumble, and the seas boil to salt. One day in the sun is a life well lived. It's just some good philosophical statements. Some of the others tell other bits of lore. Some of them are personal. They talk about specific characters, like Ulf or Astrid. And they can tell you a lot of the history of this place, although it's kind of in little tiny snippets. You have to start putting those pieces together to get the full story. Okay. This is another point of interest, but it's kind of hard to see this one. Ooh, that's a deer. Don't run away. I'm going to shoot you. No, I'm not. Oh, and that deer had a star. So some of the creatures you will encounter may have stars, either 1 or 2. Those are stronger creatures. And typically, a 1-star creature will drop approximately twice as much resources as a no-star creature. And a 2-star creature will drop approximately 4 times as many resources. So they can be very advantageous. They also have more hit points, so it can be a little harder to take down. And if they're hostile creatures, they can do a lot more damage to you. Here's some more mushrooms. Is it just 2? I don't usually mark a place with just 2. Okay. Here we are coming up on this Yggdrasil site. And, well, as you can see, it's sort of perched on this little ridge up here with very steep land all around it. One thing I'd tell you about boss fights is you're going to have to move around a lot, run away a lot, quite frankly. So the terrain matters a great deal. All this steep terrain is going to be a big drain on your stamina, and it's going to really hinder you doing the fight. So this is not a good location for fighting Yggdrasil. You can do it, but it's just going to be the terrain is going to be like a second enemy battling against you. So what we did is we sought out one of the others and tried to find a better place to fight Yggdrasil, and we did. So we're going to look at that in a bit. Here is another group of mushrooms. Let's mark that. Zoom in a bit so I can get it more exactly. Mushrooms. Pick them up. Okay. Now, you can see that there's all this other land up to the north, and there's a river of water running between the two. Well, if we want to go up there, we're going to have to get across that river. Now, there are boats in this game, but you won't have them available at the start. They take materials you won't have. So it is possible to swim across bodies of water. It's a bit risky, though, because swimming drains stamina very, very rapidly. And if you run out of stamina while you're swimming, you will start to lose health and die. But we don't want that. Oops, watch it. So what we try to do is first find a fairly narrow spot in the river. Somewhere down here, perhaps. Well, hard to do all this in the dark. Okay. This isn't too bad. It's a fair distance. And certainly there will be narrower spots, but not right now. Oh, he didn't die. Okay. Next thing to do is to watch your stamina bar until it's completely full. In fact, when it's completely full, it disappears because you're not down any stamina. And then you're going to start to swim. I usually start off with a little bit of a jump because that's a whole stretch that I didn't have to use swimming stamina for. And I swim across. And you see how rapidly my stamina is disappearing? Okay, hang on just a moment, please.